Welcome to the Brown Bricks podcast. The most amount of fun you can have while listening to a podcast.
And we're back in person at this point.
We're all
So, I've been thinking, guys. Close Encounters of the Third Kind. What's the first and second kind?
How long were you holding on?
I've been really sitting on this one for a while, boy. One of them, it's gotta be rape. Come on.
Wait, what?
I thought it was talking
what
about
is
like male, female.
what is the
and
third
then-
close encounter? I've heard that.
Close
saying. I
Encounter
don't
of
know
the
what it
Third
means.
Kind is an alien.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, you get abducted by aliens,
Yeah,
right?
the third kind is.
I think-
like,
Yeah, I thought the
male,
third
female,
kind-
and then-
yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Wait, okay, I thought there were multiple kinds of encounters.
I think-
and
Oh,
this was
you
the third kind
you
of
thought third
encounter.
kind was like abduction, and then the rest of them were like shaking hands and then rape.
I think number 2 is vampires.
Okay, well,
Number
okay,
three
we're
is
talking about
aliens.
kinds of things
That
that
you
you
encounter.
have encounters.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
number 3 is aliens. Number 2 is vampires.
Number 1's mummies, I think. Probably
And
mummies.
those are
Let's
the
be real.
only 3 kind of close encounters that you can have.
Yeah, all the rest are
Wait.
pretty far away. Like
Um,
mermen, you can't go underwater that deep.
Not really.
You're not gonna have-
like those other 3 things.
Those kinds of encounters. Well, I was just, where does that title come from? Why is it the third kind?
I don't know. That's a really good question.
Who the fuck came up with that?
I've never thought of
Is
it.
this a movie? I've
Mhm.
heard
Yeah, it's a
Close
guy gets
Encounters of the
abducted
Third
by
Kind,
aliens, I think.
That sounds badass.
I know. My-
No, I remember. I think it's a pretty like slow burn movie, and then he gets abducted.
It's for nerds, yeah.
Yeah.
It's certainly one of those like
What
Did
is
you-
it?
what was that one movie?
Yeah, the one that came out in the
yeah,
Dark of Night.
yeah,
or
that
something
one
like that.
one kind of like emulates that style.
Yeah.
But I was more intrigued on that. Just the style and like the pacing and the music kind of was like, ooh, what's gonna happen next? And at the very end, I was like, oh, okay, I guess they just get
I
abducted.
liked it until then.
I know, which was weird because that should be like the most interesting part. But at the point that they get abducted, I was like, okay, cool. And then it just takes forever for them to get abducted.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's a pretty good movie.
Yeah. I don't know.
So, I haven't been doing much other than playing Path of Exile.
Hell yeah.
I was telling Jackson, I told him already, but I'll tell you guys, when I was parked outside his dorm waiting to pick him up, I thought, oh, sometimes I forget to unlock the door for Jackson. I'll hit the unlock button right now. And as I was doing that, there was a black guy walking by.
Oh no!
The sound of unlocking is the exact same sound of locking your car doors.
Oh, that is.
He gave me a bit of a glare.
Bit of a dirty look.
Yeah.
You clutched your purse really close.
Yeah.
You brought your kid close. Yeah, I
It
mean,
really
I
bringing
think it'd
down
be-
my rep. At
It'd be
school.
funny
Yeah.
if you like open the door and like, oh no, sorry, I unlocked it. See, I
yeah.
it's
No,
open."
see,
And it's like,
you can come in. You can sit
You
fast.
gotta
inside.
autistically start like pressing lock and unlock like you're just fiddling with it like
And
How
then
do
I
I
roll
save
down the window,
myself?
I'm like, this is a lot of fun.
Do you want to come inside to my car? Because I'm not scared of you.
Yeah, start
You've
mocking.
given me no indication of any reason I should be scared of you.
Would you like to hold my wallet? I trust that you'll give it back.
You're doing all sorts of trust tests with black people to prove that you're not scared of them.
Doing trust falls with
No,
black
I was
people
gonna-
to prove you're not racist.
Yeah.
You're just like, hey, I'm gonna get on top of like this like 1-story building and I'm gonna fall off. Like, can you get like one of your friends, like who's also, it could be black, I don't really care, so that you could like hold your arms out and then you'll catch me. Would that be cool? It's just like a guy walking down the street. He's like, what are you? What do you
And,
want?
I'm gonna have my friend record this as well.
I want to send it to the NAACP to prove I'm not a hate symbol.
NAACP.
This is just the rough draft of the Joe Biden campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not scared of you, black people. In fact,
See,
we
look,
want to help
Kamala
you.
Harris. Let's do a trust fall right now.
Kamala. She's like what? Indian or
A
something?
cop, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like half Indian, half black.
Half
Okay.
Indian, half cop.
That's why a lot of the Indian people, like in the Indian community, don't like her based on the fact that she just
She's half
fucking
black.
No, they just like she emphasizes her black part, but never like her Indian.
Oh, yeah.
If I was a
I
politician,
guess.
yeah,
Yeah, I
half
know.
black, half Indian, of course I'm gonna.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to like
Black
pander and stuff,
part.
but like I don't know.
And
people
then
don't like
afterwards,
that,
I'm gonna
right?
have like a special dinner party with Indian people where I focus
Yeah.
way more on the Indians.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, but, like,
fundraising.
Yeah, exactly. That's
What is
The
the
money.
stat of like Indian families in America? Like the average income for them is like $100,000. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that-
You asked.
That and I think it's like Asians where
So
there's
why
like
would,
the
yeah, why would she try and appeal to you?
Huh?
Hmm?
wait, I don't.
I've lost the plot.
Yeah,
I've been blinking out a lot more recently. It's always been bad. For a lot more. Like, I took a sip of this beer, and I'm like, I thought it was going to be Diet Coke for some reason. It's really not pleasant.
that's like dementia. That's not blanking out. That's just
Do you wish you had like the Diet Coke button like Trump did in his office?
He had that?
He had a little red button that he'd press, and some waiter would just instantly come bring him a Diet Coke.
and,
Yeah.
and Biden got rid of it, which is just the dumbest thing in the world,
Yeah,
right?
why did he do that, man? Or at least make it something else.
You're taking away your
I
options.
guess I'm a Republican now.
No, whatever. One of my friends, like, when he heard about that, he was, like, reading something else, and we were talking, and I was laughing, and he just, like, deadpan, didn't, like, laugh at anything. He just turned to me, he's like, if I was Trump, that button would have been squirt. And then he, like, went back to what he was doing. I was like, okay, alright.
But isn't Donald Trump the guy who made fun of people?
Yeah,
like
no,
that?
he said you've never seen a thin person drinking Diet Coke. Which
Yeah.
is him owning the fatness.
Yeah, I think, yeah, you know
He's
what,
owning
he's
it.
self-aware.
Yeah.
That's a little wink, wink, nudge, nudge to the
He
audience
said
there.
like one time that he was like 260
Years
pounds.
old.
260 years old. He's a vampire.
I'm a lich.
I
They
am a
don't.
lich.
They don't know that I'm a lich. They just don't. And then everyone's like, "Woo!"
I was turned into a vampire by
actually-
Nosferatu.
Everyone's like,
All
"Yeah!"
of Joe Biden's voters are actually zombies I've raised from the dead.
Yeah, that's my army.
The
Of lich.
liberal Democrats, they have silver bullets. They want to kill me.
They want to kill me, and they want to kill all my lich zombies. That apparently they're gonna use those lich zombies, make them vote Democrat this
Yeah.
election. You hate to see it. Wow. Trump critiques like a couple of days after he left office. Biting topical.
I mean, 260 years ago, that's not that long.
I mean, can pretending that Trump is a vampire and doing bad impressions of him really be considered a critique?
Biden, I don't know. I'm fucking done with talk about Trump now that he's gone.
Yeah.
I mean, he's out of office. I know that he's gone. I think
Well-
we got a bit of Trump left
We'll see.
in the
We'll see
American
what happens.
culture, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
I'm willing.
Trump
to
is
be
an
done.
idea.
Yeah.
I'm Trump. It's Spartacus. It's
I'm
gonna be
also Trump.
where Biden's gonna be like, wait, is Trump still here? And then all of the Oval Office is just gonna be like, I am Trump. No, I am
It's
Trump.
like the end of Joker. He shot Murray in the head. He's in the cop car and he's getting taken away. But he looks out the window and he sees that
Yeah.
what he started can't be stopped.
Mm.
And he has the makeup on too.
MAGA will live. I know a lot of like. At least I saw some interviews of people who are like, "Yeah, I'm never voting Republican ever again because they betrayed Trump," and I'm like, "Is that?"
No, dude, people
What?
like the people who they energize to like go out and vote Trump don't like any other politician. Like, they
Yeah,
hate
yeah.
the GOP as a whole, but they were like Trump. I guess he's Republican, so I'm ride or die Trump. And those guys just like those guys are more like
And those are the
Burn
same
it
kind
all
of people
down.
who like my father, I imagine, who'd like warn you against a cult of personality as a kid, but they're willing to sign on to one now that they're fucking old as hell, and they're like, yeah, no, I'm totally okay with being a part of a cult of personality because they somehow believe things I also believe.
it says things I like.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of like the weird Trumpers who like went to Capitol Hill and are like super hardcore about it, they're not like they weren't like classic like GOP Republicans who got like converted into that. Like some of them
Yeah.
are for sure, but like a lot of them were like wellness, like
Yeah.
pseudoscience health people, and they just got like I don't know why that
Yeah.
group like is so
It was that and, like, the Tea Party.
mobilized.
It is like the fucking party of grifters.
Yeah,
which
true.
those people
Wow.
are now.
Yeah, they had a subconscious sympathy for Donald Trump's natural ability to grift.
Yeah. It would be so
Sign on to that grift because like a lot of the people that fall into like the Q hole and stuff like that, they're desperate for somebody to like tell them something about like the world that somebody else doesn't know. They're like, oh, we're in on this.
They're desperate
now.
to be like special.
Yeah.
They're desperate to be like, well, it can't just be the most normal.
Most boring ass
Yeah.
normal fucking evil government.
It's
of all
got to be
time.
crazy. It's got to be crazy and kooky. There's got to be lizard men
There'd be
there.
vampires and pedophiles.
And that's why
under every
everybody-
rock.
That's why everybody. It's like the people who were like, the world's gonna end in 2012. Just kidding, 2015. Like they
Oh,
kept
yeah.
pushing it back. That's why they were
Yeah,
like,
like doomsday predictors like always push it back, and when they do, they get more supporters.
yeah, because they're just like, well, this time
People don't go, oh, this guy's crazy. They go, oh.
he can't be right. He can't be
He's
wrong.
even
twice.
more knowing stuff than I thought.
I had a very embarrassing moment involving the Trump tweet. So do you remember that Trump tweet that was like it was like, this shows a lot about America, and had Trump with like Oscar, the picture of Oscar in the
Oh
background
yeah.
on Twitter, and then like it showed Joe Biden, and he put up like a picture of Ray in that exact spot.
Yeah.
And it's just like, this shows a lot about America. And one of my friends who knows I'm a weeb is just like, yeah, like, I was about to show you this, but I realized you liked it before. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's funny. And then, like, his girlfriend's like, what's over there? Like, what is that? And he's like, check this out. And then he, like, showed her the two things. But they're obscured enough that she's like, oh, okay. And then I was slightly intoxicated. So I just turned to her and I'm like, you know, Trump always struck me as kind of an Oscar guy. And she's like, what? And I'm like, don't worry about it.
It's been even better if you're like, yeah, Trump does come off like an Oscar fag.
Yeah.
Absolutely just dive into like
Drop-
4chan
yeah,
lingo.
Slash A,
Spilling your fucking spaghetti.
You haven't watched Neon Genesis Evangelion? Ree!
Yeah. I
That
don't.
would be funny if you did that.
That would be. In hindsight,
That'd be badass.
I'd have to live with that
I
person.
don't think I have any friends that don't know anime very well.
That's
I
probably
was
good.
watching this fucking what are they called? Video essays. I watched this video essay last night that you guys might have seen. It's like about a guy who had his wife who doesn't play video games play a bunch of video games.
Oh my god.
Oh,
And
that
it was
sucks.
about
That sounds
It
awful.
sucked.
it was
sucks so bad.
it was about like
He tried to act like it was a study too.
well,
Yeah,
he didn't
well,
say. He said it's not.
Yeah, but like
scientific,
he
whatever.
approaches it with like the self-importance
I don't
like it is.
care
Like they
about
give the
that part.
disclaimer where it's like it's not scientific, and then they're like, and now I'm going to go on to make a lot of
A lot of
Scientific
generalizations.
assumptions and
Yeah.
conclusions based off it anyways. But guys,
Honestly-
it's just like a casual thing. It's like fuck you.
My
It's not casual because you're not entertaining.
So-
the whole entertainment comes from the fact that you're acting like this is like interesting or informative.
Basically, his wife doesn't play video games, and he plays and like makes videos about video games. So I'm like, how did you even meet this woman and like get married to her in the first place if you guys don't have this seemingly like big part of your life as a common interest? But besides that point, he makes his wife play like the start of the video games. The conclusion I came to is that his wife's fucking retarded. She doesn't know how to fucking do
Yeah.
basic stuff with like a controller or
Well,
a mouse.
because she just doesn't do that.
Well, she
Yeah,
doesn't
she's never-
like that
Yeah,
was the
she's-
point was that they don't play video games, but this shit is not like hard to like immediately pick up.
It's,
she didn't. She
I mean,
was
there's-
playing Portal. She didn't use her mouse to like look around. Like,
yeah,
the
because
first
you
person
don't.
thing.
Okay,
doesn't
because
play
you don't.
video
Because you
games.
don't. Okay, so that's like inherent in the way that we see. Like the idea of having two sticks to like look around is like a hard concept to wrap your brain around. Especially if you just like never played video games before in your life and you didn't grow up with them, because like being like, okay, I look with this one and I move around with this one is actually like. Because it's like
Yeah, but
whatever
it's
to
with
us.
a mouse and a keyboard was what she was playing with.
I still think that's like understandable.
That was actually the one point of the video that I'm like, okay, yeah, like the idea that like certain controls that are like we just like start and we're like, oh yeah, this is obvious or
Mhm.
like
Sure.
not obvious to other people. But my problem with that video was like, I saw it a while ago. Was it like 10 minutes longer? Probably
20 minutes.
It's 20 minutes, and like that's like the only like lucid point made in the entire thing. That like controls that we take for granted, like people who haven't ever played video games don't.
The
And
point-
then, that's you spend 20 minutes on that.
The point that upset me the most that he made was like his wife always wanted to like do things in the game that weren't possible because there's like a point in Uncharted where she wanted to like swing into a window from there. It's like, why can't I do
Yeah,
that?
that was
And I'm like,
stupid. Yeah,
fuck you. It's not how this works. You're not gonna like watch a movie and be like, oh, why aren't they doing what I want them to
That's
do?
like,
that's what
oh,
people do though.
But
That's
yeah,
what,
true.
wasn't
but-
it Last of Us where there's like a scene at the start of the game where you have to like run away from zombies and like there's a part where there's an invisible wall, right? So I get like the first time she tries, right?
Yeah.
It's like she tried this for 5 hours, like not that long, but like way too long. She was trying to run through the invisible wall. She's like, why isn't it working?
Yeah, just look around, you
she
dumb.
tried this for 24
asshole.
hours.
Like that's not like understanding like stuff that people take for granted. That's like not understanding the concept of like trial and error. Like,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
from anything. Anytime a YouTuber has a girlfriend or a wife, I assume that they just like found them in a gutter. I don't know why. I just get that vibe.
They're just
I
no.
know what you mean.
I mean, so like as far as because I feel like it's not the importance of like liking the same exact things. It's like, oh, you like Dark Souls, I like Dark Souls. Like that's not as important as like why do you like the things you like, and then I can like introduce you to things that I like because it doesn't need to be like 100% overlap. Like I wouldn't want to date someone who's like they like everything I like, they've seen everything I've seen because I want to like have new experiences with them and vice versa. But seeing all of the things that are like my girlfriend reacts to all the One Piece characters, or like my grandma reacts to how much
My
these
grandma
Yu-Gi-Oh
names
cards.
all of these.
Yeah, that was a popular thing for a while.
Pokemon.
It's like my brain dead grandmother tries to name every Pokemon.
And they
She
get
fails.
What an idiot! She said,
Pikachu.
there's a pretty great Pro ZD video where it's like my grandma tries to name every Smash Bros character, and it's like who's this? It's like that's Mario. And it's like well who's this? It's like that's Luigi. And it's like well who's this? And she's like that's Shulk from Xenoblade Chronicles on the 3DS and the
I've seen
Wii.
that. That one's good.
But I don't know. I look at that and I'm like, wow. Anybody who like most people that I'd show it to, if you were like, okay, cool, I'm gonna sit you down and we're gonna do this for like 2 hours, where I just show you One Piece characters and I talk about them for
Name them.
like they would hate that. Like they would like
Yeah, I guess, but they're content
Have
creators.
you guys seen that video essay where it's like trying non-American or it's like why Americans eat dessert for breakfast, right?
yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's
I don't.
terrible fucking video. The worst video ever made because
We
he
always
like
should
the general
video
idea
essays.
is like not incorrect. Like oh, in America we eat stuff like waffles and pancakes for breakfast sometimes.
Mhm.
Which me adding sometimes is making the point more nuanced than he did.
Yeah.
I just don't eat breakfast, so.
Where he's like acting like it's life changing. He's like, rather than having pancakes for breakfast, I tried having yogurt, and I gotta say, I've been feeling a lot better. It's like,
Yogurt's like
like
also
you-
a dessert.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, it
sweet.
depends on the. But anyways, it's like he's like acting like it's crazy that like he like in Revolutionary they tried like having yogurt instead, like Greek yogurt's like not like dessert, right?
Okay,
And
yeah.
but it's like you realize that's something that like a lot of Americans already do.
Yeah.
Like
They'll
a lot
just
of
eat a
Americans will have
banana.
like or like you know like eggs, right? Like
Yeah.
he never talks about like eggs and bacon the whole video. He acts like the only breakfast we have is waffles and pancakes.
The only breakfast we have is eating an entire birthday cake for all of breakfast, and I felt like shit that day. But then I ate a banana the next day and worked out, and for some reason I felt a lot better. It's like, yeah, no shit. Like, it's called just eating healthy.
I do like people who like to try and make their shit sound scientific for some reason. It's like, why are you bothering? Just say like.
Well,
your
if you make it
thoughts.
sound scientific, like 99% of people are going to be like, he knows what he's talking about. He's a guy on the internet with a British accent. He's got it. He knows.
Yeah,
All these
shit
YouTubers
together.
need to accept that they're like just are clowns. They're just like you're not special or smart. You're a fucking monkey, and I'm pointing a gun at your feet to make you dance.
And that
That's
gun
what
is
it
the
is.
subscribe
With
button.
the gun.
My gun is the
My
dislike.
view.
Watch out.
Yeah.
You don't want to dislike, do you?
Dislike.
I don't know. I just
Video.
the entire purpose of like video essays kind of falls flat for me once they start being like, all right, I have a couple of ideas of stuff that I know about, and then they
Yeah.
get into things where they have no idea, and
They
they're
have like a thought that's like okay, and they're like, this should be a video.
yeah, exactly. No, it is absolutely absurd.
What about you, Tej? What have you been up to? Our fourth guy.
The
all
guy we
my,
also
uh,
have here.
Most of my roommates came back, and
Yeah.
my last one's coming back, Jake. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
we hate
I've
that
been-
guy.
He's gonna
Hang
yell
out
at us
with
for being loud.
Yeah, wait.
yeah, he's coming back tonight.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Ethan.
Set
Ethan and I
his
went
bed
to.
on fire.
Let's lay a trap.
Let's pee on Jake's bed.
I want to
That-
we gotta lay out some rakes in Jake's room. Somebody steps
Yeah.
on them, they fucking
And then he
slap.
turns
found
around,
out-
he says, "I guess I'll go the other way," and it's like, "Wah."
If you found out that your roommate and three of their friends all got together and purposely peed on your bed, how would you react?
I think I.
Yeah, you smell it.
Well,
Not how would you like figure it? Like when we would tell him like, by the way, Jake, we all peed in your bed. Like if you were Jake, how would you react?
I'd probably kick that person out of the
Not
house.
you, Tage.
Whatever.
We're trying to
I
get
don't know,
Tage
I
involved.
would be fucking shocked. I don't know.
Yeah, but like, what would you say to yourself as a different person?
Wow, I'm shocked.
It's like,
Wow.
what the fuck? Why
I
did you
can't
do that?
believe
I would
this.
be in I would first think it's a joke, right? And
Yeah.
then you'd go in.
And then you would smell
Smell
and
it.
see how damp the bed is.
I would probably get really angry.
Would you hit? Would you
Would you
hit?
hit?
I would probably.
Would you hit?
Commit.
Would you hit?
How could you slap?
I would get physical. Correct.
You would get
yes.
physical.
I would get physical.
Ethan,
That's
you
when
want
you
to
get
pee in
physical with
Jake's
someone.
bed with us?
I mean, I'm down.
Yeah.
If there's
But, like, do
two,
I benefit in any way from it, other than getting to pee in someone's bed?
Well,
Nah,
we'll
Jake
take
gets
the rap
physical.
for it. You can do the peeing. We'll take the rap.
no, but I feel
Smell
like
then really when Jake gets here, we're like, Ethan peed in your bed 5 times.
so
Because we gotta say 5 times, because he'll look at that pee. If we just say Ethan did, he's like, that's
Yeah.
only one man.
yeah, that's only.
of urine there. We're like, well, that's because he did it 5,
5
or
times.
that's 5 man's amount of urine.
Soaked into my mattress.
But like, if all of your roommates came in and peed on your bed, and they were just like, "Yeah, we all peed on it," like,
Yeah.
what would you
That
do?
would be a more-
like, what would you like? What
That would be a
recourse
more
would you-
nuanced situation.
Yeah, well, how can you
I would
fucking?
probably move out.
Yeah, well, but it's like, okay, I signed the
You
lease,
sue
like.
them?
Would
Yeah.
you tell people about how that happened to you?
But then they could also just be like, oh yeah, we didn't do that to like everyone else, and it's like they just
Yeah,
say,
he's just weird.
yeah, he just
What
thinks.
if you told someone that your roommates peed in your bed and that you got upset and they're like, that kind of sounds like an overreaction.
Well, it depends on if they'd like fucking try to replace the cost, right? If they pay for like new sheets and stuff.
No, but they're in this situation. They're just acting like they don't even realize they did something wrong.
Yeah, they just you have to explain
They're
to
like,
them
look,
why.
man, I didn't want to upset you. I just had to pee, so I peed in. You weren't here.
When
so
you
I
gotta
just
go.
peed in
When you
your-
gotta go, you go on Jake's bed.
Mhm.
It's like, you know, I wet the bed, so I
Jake,
slept in yours.
We made a new rule at the house while you're gone that if you have to pee, you gotta pee on your
we
bed.
peed in your bed.
Why did you make that rule?
Yeah, I think it'd be better if you just did it once, like right after he left, and then not again. Like, you didn't like wash the
It's
sheets
really
or
dry.
anything. So it's like
So he doesn't
there's
really
just a piss
notice.
stain.
Yeah.
No, you would know. You would have to.
Well,
It'd smell
how
bad.
fucking
Yeah.
Although I guess
your piss is
Yeah.
probably really dark and thick.
no, not true. When you drink Diet Coke, it gets real clear.
Okay.
Really?
It does.
Yeah.
Sure.
But if so, like that
Because
really
the
depends.
thing in Diet Coke, it actively sucks water out of your body and further dilutes your pee.
That's not what makes.
I read
pee
about it online. That's what happens.
Yellow. Water doesn't make pee yellow.
I googled on Google
Doesn't
why
water make
is
pee
my
clear?
pee
Yes.
so clear after I drink a bunch of
That
Diet
is-
Coke, and they're like, it's
mostly
because
water, right? Like a lot of.
it's mostly water, but it's also like it hydrates you somewhat, but like unlike water, it actively pulls water out of your body like a little bit. It adds more than it pulls out, but like that's why you get especially. Look, this is not like a thing.
Okay,
I
so
think. This is
okay.
something.
I
I'm
know
going to
what-
make a video.
I know what's
essay.
happening. I know
Make
what's
a fucking
happening
video
here.
essay.
It's pulling the stuff that would be in your pee into your fucking bladder to give you another kidney stone.
Yeah.
That's what's going
It's
on.
probably doing
it's
that.
it's hoarding it
also,
up like
yeah.
a spirit bomb, and then it's gonna throw the
Yeah.
kidney stone.
It's doing both things.
And that's why your pee is so clear, because all the stuff that should be leaving your body is staying inside of it.
Yes.
Yeah, alright. We figured that
But
scientific
I
fact.
want it to be acknowledged that is correct. That Diet Coke,
I don't
that Diet
acknowledge
Coke
that.
makes your pee more.
I've
clear.
won this battle.
Yeah.
I've-
That makes
I
sense.
want that
But
to
it
be
wouldn't
acknowledged.
pull stuff out of your like because
I
it's
Googled
not
it.
it's not the higher like osmolarity.
I
It needs to be a
Googled it.
certain.
I googled it.
Oh, what, you found it on Quora? or whatever? That one, like Yahoo Answers.
You
Maybe
are-
it was Reddit. I don't remember.
I don't have
Ask
the
Reddit.
research.
why
I
is my
didn't-
pee so clear when I
I'm
drink
not
Diet
gonna
Coke? Also,
cite my fucking sources, Tate. It's Diet Coke pee science.
where are your sources for your
I
Diet
mean,
Coke
yeah.
this
pee
guy
theories?
would be an expert on that
Look,
kind of thing.
I'll acknowledge that there are issues with having a sources you don't remember, but you don't even have sources at all. So
I know what my sources are. My
This is all
curriculum.
hypothetical. I
like
Cite
what I
it.
learned in science.
cite it. Which class? Which class covered Diet
animal
Coke pee?
physiology.
Animal.
I'm not an animal. I'm a man.
I imagine though an
Animal.
entire unit was devoted to a study where they just fed like cats Diet Coke. and they were like, what happened to them?
That
They
reminds
pee
me.
clear.
there
No, they all
was-
developed
there was-
kidneys.
There was like a study where I'm vaguely remembering this. I'm gonna get it wrong. Where they had like fake monkey moms and baby monkeys, and there was like one like cold, sharp, robotic monkey mom who had good milk, and one warm, cuddly
There was a robot monkey.
robot monkey mom. Yeah, spoiled
psych
milk, and they went to like the
experiment.
warm, cuddly one. But I'm saying, what if they did that with Diet Coke?
I know. Which one would be Diet Coke and what would the other substance
They're
be?
both Diet Coke, but one's stale.
One's just
One's very
completely-
flat. And
Yeah.
like, yeah.
I don't know
warm.
what they're trying to figure out.
You go to the warm cuddly mom, but she has
They're
flat
like-
Diet Coke in her
the
tits.
scientists or the abstract is like, I don't know what the point of this was, but we gave every baby monkey kidney stones, and it was not good. We got in a lot of trouble.
We spent $2 million.
And then the abstract just ends with, "We're sorry."
We're fucking sorry.
They win like the Nobel Prize for like
They gave us
scientific research.
$10 million. To do this. We don't
This
know.
is government funded.
We don't. It wasn't the government. We don't know who gave us the money.
It was big soda and big
It was
aspartame.
a kid named Phineas Silverling, and we asked why. Why do you want us to give the baby monkeys Diet Coke?
Yeah, he said, "Here's $2 million.
He said, "Don't worry about it."
Don't ask questions you
I
don't know
kind
the
of
answer
remember a
to."
similar study that I saw on YouTube a long time ago, and I thought I'd do it with Diet Coke. They're like, "This is."
How rich do you have to be to start just being like, you do this scientific study for me, like hiring scientists to do like bullshit, like, could you be Spider-Man?
We can figure out the answer to that question. Tage, how
Could
much
you
money
be
would I have to pay you?
Could you
do a
be
scientific
Spider-Man?
study?
They're just all like prodding people, torturing them until they're like, "Are you Spider-Man?"
No, I like the idea that they just have like 1,000 different spiders, and everyone has to like fall into the pit of spiders, and they're like, he's not
Get bit by
Spider-Man.
every one of these spiders.
This
Like,
cost us $2 million to
it's a
discover.
Scientific goo ritual where they put all the insects in the bottle.
Yeah, it's like
Fate.
fucking fate.
Yeah, it's like what's it, Sakura? Just throw her into the bug pit.
Raped by all the
Right, bug pit.
That's
I love how in like
I know, it's-
I love how in like trashy fantasy series, there's always like, and this is a creature who has evolved to be the best at
purely,
raping.
purely raped.
That's
in this
great.
fantastical world, there's all
Yeah.
sorts of crazy creatures, and one has evolved to just be really good at rape.
For some reason,
Just
that
to
seems to be its MO.
Uh,
I just, I
What
do
if there was
like,
like a real animal that like evolved just to rape you?
yeah,
It's called
because they never like
Oh, yeah, that's
grab
right.
it and then eat them, and then like one of like because like monkeys or whatever have like or like dolphins have that precognition, but it's not necessarily something
Dolphins
that they'll
are
do
able to
if
see
it's
the
like.
future.
But like all of the precognition, all of the fucking like
Sometimes
all,
we just throw words out there.
all of the
You don't
monsters.
worry too much about it.
I'm gonna edit over that, so I said something that was
Just cut out the
grammatically.
pre, have cognition, you're good to
Yeah.
go. Cognition just means thinking brain stuff.
Yeah, that's right. Neuroscientist.
That's not
But-
wrong. Yeah.
But no, like all
That's
the
why I said it.
the rape monster will always be like, I ate 2 people and now I'm gonna rape you. It's like why are you not just eating the third person? Are they
They're
full?
Because they want to
man.
enjoy themselves. Jack.
But I do. I
They
just,
have multiple desires that must be sated, not just hunger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, those are my two desires.
Desire of the author.
Sex and food.
it's true.
That's all I need. Well, speaking of trashy fantasy series, you guys heard about the new redo of Healer series that's out? That's just the rape,
I've heard.
torture.
Yeah, no, I've heard
porn.
people talking about like
No.
I've seen hentai that
It's
is
a
less
real
graphic
anime,
than
yeah.
episode 2 of Return of Healer. Like
Yeah.
people are like, I've seen stuff that like I've seen hentai that is way less graphic
Does
than
he
that.
heal?
It's extremely edgy.
He does.
I like.
He's like, I have to.
No, this is beyond like
Beyond
the edge
the
that you
edge.
like to. This is like real fucked up. Like,
Didn't they like?
You're a weirdo if you wrote this kind of edge.
Where's it streaming?
I know.
It's a Hulu exclusive.
I
Yeah.
think it is it Funi. I don't fucking know. It's, I don't think it's on anything like big.
Okay.
To be honest. What was it? Didn't Funimation pick up like what was it? Interspecies reviewers
Yeah.
before they knew what it was about.
Well, they like dropped it like 3 episodes.
yeah,
in,
because they're
and
like,
I'm
oh shit, this is just porn.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
God.
but it's also like,
Well,
dude,
the anime was a lot more like pornographic than the source.
yeah. But at the same
Which
time,
makes sense because the source was like really short, like jokes about
Yeah.
like fantasy brothels that like they're like, we can't make a full episode out of this.
Yeah.
What do we expand? It's like, I think you know what.
I think there's one
Just
thing that
have
we
the
can.
sex, yeah.
We expand on.
But yeah, this redo of Healer shit seems fucking like crazy.
I have you watched it? Like I
No, I have not.
idea.
I've just heard things about it. I've seen like the scene where he's like breaking some girl's fingers. Like that's just like one of the.
Why
scenes.
is he the
Because
healer?
he's crazy. I don't fucking
Oh.
know. He like I think the backstory. I have not seen any of this. I've just heard things through various
Reddit
grapevines
posts.
on the internet. But I think the main character, like he was a healer before in like the other like world he was in, and he got like raped a bunch and saw all his comrades die or whatever and get
That's
raped.
pretty cool.
And now he got reincarnated and now he's evil or some shit. I don't know.
Okay, why? What fantasy creature raped him? Do you know?
I don't know. No, I think it was other people, and so now he's taking it out on this fantasy world.
It's
and
true.
going to rape and murder these
What's
people.
What's the thesis of this show?
Like
What's
what like that's the most unjustified like revenge ever.
Yeah.
Like, not only are you not taking out your revenge on someone who isn't the person who wronged you, you're doing it in like a different realm.
Yeah,
Where
you're
it
doing it in
happened.
something that's completely irrelevant to what actually happened
Like,
to you.
it's like if Tage kicked me in the shin and I like found extraterrestrial life.
Well, are they trying to make a point about like the cycle of violence? About
Definitely
his
not.
yeah, his
I haven't
uncle.
seen
I
it,
think
but
it's
for
just
sure.
uncle raped him.
I
Now
think
he
it's
has
just
to be a raper,
fetishistic.
right?
I feel
Yeah.
like because I
For
remember people
sadists,
like
yeah.
when people heard about that it was getting an anime. People were like, "What the
Dude,
How the
I-
fuck?
Yeah, how is there
I
enough
still think
traction
that, like-
behind this to where like green light this shit is
Hey,
When,
Hey,
when
fucking
stuff like that
people.
gets like adapted, I'm just like, the anime is just atrophying.
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, I look at that and I think not necessarily
This is,
something
uh,
The
where
rotted muscle of
That-
what once made anime good.
Yeah.
is this anime.
is now
This is-
just Jujutsu
This is the
Kaisen.
accelerationism of anime. You make the shittiest anime possible until it has to flip back
Yeah,
around.
we need
so
to make
it
more
makes
Abenai sisters.
good anime.
That's some
Also-
accelerationism I can get behind.
I was watching that one basketball anime on Netflix.
Oh, Kirk on the Basket. It's great. That
Yeah.
that show's amazing. I love
Watched the
that.
first 3 episodes. Have you guys seen it?
I haven't seen it. But
I've been
I
reading
probably would.
the first 4 chapters of a manga that's an isekai and a sports manga, where he
That-
gets
what the
isekai
fuck?
into a world where conflicts are settled with baseball.
Of
And
course.
in
Like
his
no game,
world,
no life.
in his world, he was fucking the all-star baseball high school champion guy. But
Oh, okay.
as he was going
Of
to the
course.
final championships,
Got
his
hit
bus,
by a foul ball.
his bus crashed. His
That'd
bus
be a good
crashed
way
and
to
he
do
died.
it.
before
Oh,
he
that's
could-
lame. Yeah, getting hit by a foul
But
ball.
the I guess because he would be way outclassed though. Because even if you're like the best guy in high school, like
Being
if they're in a
world.
world where conflicts are settled by baseball, you don't think that everyone on every baseball team's not just gonna be like
Gods,
leagues? Yeah,
yeah.
just,
Well, no, they make a point about that. They're like, you guys, I don't know how they like. You would think that like more research and effort be put into baseball there, but like, but no, actually, in Japan is where all baseball knowledge is culminated for some reason. But he's like playing against like werewolves and like they can fucking do curveballs and like he's like helping out the humans who just fucking suck.
yeah.
And they're like, they use magic to make their balls curve. He's like, it's actually not magic.
They don't.
It's actually, you guys are just dumbasses. Oh, if you hold the ball with your knuckles, it'll like do a little floaty thing.
Do a little
It's
knuckleball.
just that's magic, right? I
Fucking casting spells with his baseball.
And like
And
the
that-
humans have been like so like fucked up in these baseball matches that like decide things that there's like almost none left. So like there's like children and elderly people playing baseball. And he's like, I guess I just have to strike out every batter. on every team.
This seems pretty similar to No Game, No Life, right? Where like the human faction
Yeah,
is like the
sure.
lowest.
Yeah. I mean the idea, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
There's only like one other person who's good. He's like, you have to be the catcher because literally none of these other people can handle my pitches. And they have to have like a training arc of him getting her to handle his pitches.
What the fuck?
that's
Well, it's a
awesome.
girl, too,
What's
so-
it called? These handles
Handles
pitches.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's
If you
Okay.
look up,
Handle me pitching.
if you look
these
up
nuts.
Isekai baseball on like
Yeah.
Reddit manga, you'll find it. There's only like 4 chapters out right now. It's surprisingly hyped though.
I
I get pretty into it.
sports anime can be incredibly hype if done like pretty well, but you can also do it pretty shit. And there's a lot of like very boring sports anime where Because like with like Haikyuu, Kuroko no Basket, iShield 21, they take time to be like, here's why football, basketball, baseball is like hype. But then with a lot of other sports anime, it's like, you already like baseball, right? We're just gonna go into that. We're just, isn't this cool? And it's like, you're like appealing to weebs.
Dude, that's why I'm so pissed about the guy who wrote Kuroko when he wrote Robot X Laser Beam.
Yeah.
He could have done something awesome with Goff.
It was kind of a weird show because like initially Robot or Robo or whatever they called him,
Robo.
he was just like, it was like, how does this guy lose? It's like, oh, he can't hit very far, but he's 100% accurate with all of his
That is
shots.
a fucking guy.
And so it's like, so
he just wins.
So he
What
just
the
wins
fuck?
every golf thing ever, and then it's like, oh, but he gets tired too. But then it's like, oh, well, he could just improve, and he'll just be the best. And then he's like, time skip. He's the best now, and then it ended.
Yeah, they had
Well,
to
I got
fucking
axed,
yeah,
right?
they got axed super hard. But yeah, like there's so many good things you could have done with a Goff manga, like about like superpowers in some way, or even just like learning the sport, which they didn't. He didn't even try and do that with
Yeah.
Robo. There wasn't anything like like how do I swing the club or like what am I even trying to do? It was just like Robo just knows.
Yeah,
now, all of a
he's
sudden.
just done this for
He
his
doesn't
entire life.
shank it or fucking hit a hook or anything like that. He
just
doesn't
wins.
like know how to like stand. He just knows how to stance up apparently because he's got autistic math brain going on.
I could legitimately
Yeah, just, like has such a fundamental understanding of like physics. And
Yeah.
he's like, oh, okay, this is the optimal golf stance.
Yeah, actually though, you're joking.
But-
I know, I
that's
read
But like,
it, yeah,
I
it
just
sucked.
I hate it because honestly, that given Kuroko no Basket and how hyped that was, if it was any other protagonist with any other skill set, I think
Yeah,
he
he's
probably
also
could have
just
made
boring.
it work.
He's just a
But he
boring
just
character.
had this guy who was like a door handle, and that was it. And then he got into golf, and he was the best at it, and that's it. Like that's his ability, and it's
Yeah,
like, wow,
so-
this sucks.
If you want a hype sports manga with a decent amount of chapters out, read Blue Lock. It's about soccer.
I've
Probably
read-
maybe
I've never heard
Yeah,
of
I think we've talked about it briefly, but I've read a little bit of that.
Yeah, but it's like the idea is they're like Japan has a pretty good soccer team, but we don't have any good strikers, so we're gonna lock all of these
Oh,
promising like young strikers in like what's basically like a prison training camp.
Yeah, you
And they're
talked
gonna
about
form
that.
teams that are like just strikers, and they're like, but it's like pretty good. And like, I was trying to think like, why do I like this so much? Like the art's pretty good, but like the characters aren't like the best ever.
Yeah.
And like, so I'm like, but I think what I like about it is like he crams like so much of like a match into a single chapter,
That's so nice.
right? Where like the Isekai one like is kind of cool, kind of hype, but like you feel like a lot doesn't get done in a given chapter.
Yeah, I mean that's the
IQ was
problem.
good about that too. Like
Yeah.
a lot of a match would progress
Um,
in this like single episode or chapter.
And you definitely get the feeling because there are a lot of matches where it's like 1 point is done in like stuff, but Haikyuu will be like, you'll get like a third, you'll get at least like the third of a set. So like you're not like waiting
And they're not afraid to like skip ahead too, which is nice.
yeah, where they're just like
they're like
you-
we don't need to see literally every point in a
Mhm.
match of volleyball.
Yeah, it's like sometimes you just because volleyball is, especially with volleyball, is a game where it's like sometimes the other team is just gonna score and there's not a whole lot you can
Yeah.
do about that. Whereas like with basketball, I remember in Kuroko no Basket there was like a team that up until Kagami's team got to them, no points were scored on them ever. Because this guy was like 7 feet tall and he was just able to like grab
He
the
was
ball.
just fucking guarding.
Yeah.
That's illegal.
Exactly, but he didn't even go on offense. He would just like they would just stay on the other side, and then he would like just stop the ball whenever it came, and he'd like throw it. But yeah, no, I think
love how dumb sports manga is, just unapologetically. Like in that Blue Lock one, they're like, all right, well they're all strikers, but like you need a goalie, right? So what they do is they don't bother to explain this at all. There's hard light hologram goalies, and they just don't make any effort. Like they're just there.
that's fucking
And you're
awesome.
like, okay, sure.
All right, because
I-
no one wants to be goalie.
No one wants to be goalie. Yeah.
It's the same appeal of Black Clover having like basically an entire arc done in like 3 chapters, where it's like, all right, you kind of get where we're going with this. We're gonna skip to the hype parts, and then afterwards we'll kind of like do a wrap up. And I think part of that is also because the anime is like animated every week, and it's also like pretty popular. So he's like, all right, we'll just burn through this arc, and they can like spend 20 episodes on the fight. But
Black Clover is the most mediocre like action anime ever
Oh, yeah.
made. Like some of the scenes are good because I don't know.
Yeah.
every long-running action anime has like a few good scenes because eventually they're like, oh, we saved up a bit of budget, let's go all out.
Yeah.
But like, this
The
is so uninspired.
It does seem
I
pretty
can't believe
like
that it's
incredibly
successful as it is.
well. That's what incredible mediocrity gets
The-
you in Shonen Jump.
I don't know. I think like
Success.
I think like that's discounting the actual because there's like actual complete mediocrity that's hit Shonen Jump and it just like disappears. But I think the success from Black Clover is that overall it's not an uninteresting world that he's made. It's not like a One Piece level thing where it's like this. I want to explore everything, but there's like he's thought about it and there's like enough thought that goes
I don't
into
know,
it.
It feels pretty uninteresting.
I mean,
to
it's
me.
pretty. It's
Maybe I haven't got
generic.
far
It's
enough
generic
in it,
fantasy, but it's like it's also he has like enough like world building around it, like far enough into it. But the way that he does it is that again he has. I think I talked to it about like with Jackson and Tage about this a little bit ago, where like apparently he kept bringing like weird shit to his editor, and he's like, "Would this get published?" And he's like, "How about you make a generic ass shonen?" And then later down the line, you can add a bunch of weird shit into it, and that'll be really cool. And then, like, you'll just be able to say, like, oh, well, it's already popular. And so apparently that's what he did. And there's a lot of, like, weird shit right
but
now.
he
in
just
it.
refused to add any of the weird shit because it was so popular.
My
Oh,
issue with Black Clover is he's like so restrained with the powers, right? Like Fairy Tail is stupid, but like there's some enjoyability in just like the stupid powers he'll give
Yeah.
people. Right? He's like, all right, well, we already have a fire guy, so what if this guy can use stinky fire? Like that's a scene that happens in Fairy
Yeah.
Tail. They're like, all right, we want another guy to have fire. How do we make his fire different? Like his fire smells bad.
It's fire. It's
Which is fucking stupid. Like in Fairy Tail, like
Fucking
everyone,
something.
there's no repeats of magical
Dude,
abilities except for the keys.
yeah, yeah.
But like everyone has their own
Unique,
unique,
right.
personalized, which is like
And-
it's
but-
silly because like it starts off where like okay, ice, fire,
Like
and then,
steel.
and then stinky fire.
Yeah.
So like they have to just get weirder and weirder. But like in like fucking Black Clover is just like magic.
Yeah,
It's
just, there's some interesting stuff
I-
later down the line.
Maybe.
I think.
I'll believe you on that. I'll
But
take
overall, I think the main appeal of Black Clover is that it goes at like such a breakneck pace that it like the way that
your-
I don't
guess,
know.
yeah, that's true.
I don't know how he does it, but it's very enjoyable to read. Like I understand that what I'm reading initially was like very like generic shonen stuff, but the appeal of the manga is definitely like it is going through this at like such a clip that there's always like something going on.
I stopped reading when like the white-haired like elf people like started like possessing people's bodies. Like
yeah.
at that point, I'm just like I don't care. Like
It's like,
because
yeah.
that's like I complain about this with almost every piece of media I consume that's like manga or anime or even like webcomics. There's like too many fucking characters and like that
Yeah.
like just highlighted where it's like all these characters like oh they turned that's pretty surprising huh? It's like too many. People
Yeah, I don't know who you
for
are.
me to care about.
Okay, we got Black Clover. What about Black Lover? And it's about a Japanese girl who likes to fuck black guys in Japan.
Is
That
this-
would be
wait,
canceled
Is
immediately.
there still magic in it?
Yes,
Okay,
she has.
of
She
course.
has. to
She's
use
turning
magic.
it. She's turning Japanese
No,
guys
no, no.
into
She
She
black
has
guys.
no,
the
I got
magical
it. She got
ability
magic.
to
I got
love
powers
black
to
people,
handle the
which
She
no
does-
other Japanese person
So
has.
you guys know how magic black guys like magic tricks? She does like street
Oh,
magic.
that's a real thing.
No,
Tage
yeah.
doesn't know. We gotta explain it. You're not familiar with that? Show a black
people
person a
love
magic trick.
magic
They'll
tricks.
freak the fuck out.
Yeah.
You've never heard that stereotype?
No.
No, I
Watch
haven't.
watch a video
This
with
is a real
David Blaine
thing,
and
yeah.
black people, and they're all for
It's
it.
so funny.
They're all for
But
it.
she just does street magic tricks, and they're all just like, whoa, what the?
And then she fucks him.
And then she has sex.
This is
And
genius.
she got into street magic because she loves their reaction so much. She's like,
Yeah, no,
just
she's
like,
doing
I
it.
just like to watch black people having fun.
but then there's like a group of like evil street magic people who
Who
just
hate
like,
black.
who hate black people
and survive off raping black.
They just like the idea of tricking black people with street magic.
Now we got.
They're evil. And she's like, you're doing street magic for black people for the wrong reason.
I just want to see them happy.
I just want to bring joy and excitement to their lives. You want them to be fooled.
You just think they're stupid.
And there's a scene where like a lolly who's actually way older than she looks
Yeah,
does street
yeah.
magic for black people, and they're like, "That's crazy." And she's like, "No, give me money." and then there's her inner monologue. She's like, "Stupid black people falling for my evil street magic."
Dude, what? How do you have like battles? How do you have just cooler magic tricks? Or
They're
do you-
both doing
What's
street
the
magic
power
for the
scale?
same audience of black people, and they're saying who gets the better reaction.
Yeah,
Yo!
You're so fucked,
bro. Just these fucking immigrants in Japan. just all day.
crowds of black
They're
people.
just
How
going to
many
like
different
poor
races,
neighborhoods
right?
in Japan doing street magic.
Are there
So are they gonna go to like
poor
America
neighborhoods
next,
of Japan?
and then like to Africa?
Yeah.
Like, you gotta have
The final arc is in Africa.
The final part in Africa, she gets fucking taken and like chopped up to make like magic powders or whatever.
No,
That's
no.
what they do to
She
people
gets
who do
taken and
magic
burned at the
tricks.
stake because like you don't know what you're messing with. That's some devil magic right
What is
there.
it? They turn like
Some voodoo.
albino people into aphrodisiacs in some parts of Africa because they're considered unnatural. That's
Yeah.
a real thing.
Yeah.
I'm not
I
making
believe-
this up.
I'm sure.
Just there's a character who looks exactly like David Blaine, but he's David Blaine.
David Payne, where all he
Yeah,
wants.
David Payne.
Yeah,
He's evil too.
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
That would be like, I don't know.
What's like her like end goal? Like she's like, where does she want to
She
do?
wants
She's like,
to
I want to do.
She wants to
every
fuck
black-
100
She's
black
like,
guys.
I want to do.
100
She's like, I
black
want to
guys,
do
yeah.
street magic for black people on Hollywood Boulevard. That's my dream.
She,
Yeah. Oh, that's
she
good.
wants to do it in what's it called, the Luxor in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Oh no! Wait,
Like
they want
Chris
to.
Angel.
No, I like
No, wait,
I like
they
the
want
idea
to-
that her aspirations isn't even like magic shows.
Yeah.
I want to
It's
go
just
to
on
like
the street
just
in
street
LA.
magic the whole time, but just like nicer streets.
Yeah.
Oh, dude! But her inspiration was that like her dad, when he was really young, they used to live on Hollywood Boulevard, and they used to be like homeless. But he would do street magic for black people, and he's like, "That's all the food we need, kid."
I'm just imagining the like Black Clover, like what is the opening where he's like Black Clover.
Well, I like
Get
the idea.
down.
I like the idea that the title is Black Lover, but it's pronounced Black Lover.
Black Clover.
No, it would be pronounced Black Rover. Yeah, it would be pronounced Black Rover.
Wow.
Oh,
Okay, wow.
There we go. No, he's right.
Yeah.
No,
He's accurate.
I'm upset.
Black Rover.
That's I think I've told you guys about the fact that
pee.
in One Piece there's like an island or whatever that everyone just called like Raftail
Yeah, where you
for
going? Where you going?
years.
Yeah.
And then they were like
It's right there.
because
Hey. Tay's
I was
just
gonna take a pee in the bathroom, but Tage pointed at Jake's bedroom because of the earlier joke.
good
That's a
call
little-
back,
good little
Tage.
callback.
Good call. You're getting better at this, Tage.
You're picking up on it.
Bing Zang Zoom.
Uh,
But yeah. Oh, also I found out something interesting from an interview or whatever. So you know Attack on Titan. You guys have heard of that, right?
mhm.
Apparently, there's like a big reason why it's so meticulously planned out is because the editor came in with like 200 questions to the guy, and he was like, "Here are all the world building questions I'm gonna ask you, and if you can't come back with an answer, you have to answer them next week." And like a bunch of them, he's like, "I don't know," and he's like, "Find me an answer." And so eventually, he was able to like answer all of the world building questions,
Yeah.
and that's why Attack on Titan's world is
The
like.
editor.
Yeah.
Pretty fucking good idea there.
I know. It makes a lot of sense. That's all you have to do to be an editor. I think you were just like being an editor would be so easy. Just like this is dog shit.
I really do, yeah, like Isayama's writing style. I saw some fucking dumbass discourse recently. There's been a lot of dumbass discourse recently.
Whenever
about
anime
Attack
gets
on
popular,
Titan.
it's just
It's
like,
like, is Attack on Titan promoting fascism? And I'm like, how can you read that and just think that anyway? I can imagine like watching the first couple of seasons and being like, it kind of glorifies militarism in a
Yeah.
sense because they're like, oh, we're in the military and
Yeah,
we're super cool.
but it's also a
it's
very
fun.
different situation from like
Yes.
here, where it's like, oh, you know, if there was giant babies trying to eat everybody, I'm sure people would be like, you know what, military,
Having a military.
kind of okay.
But at the same time, like, it doesn't make it seem like these kids being in the military is like a good thing. It's like you kind of have to be.
Yeah, it's
there.
horrifying.
Yeah,
like no one,
So
like
it's like ISIS then.
Yes, they have to do what they have to
yeah,
do.
no, the
Tage, you're saying
the
just
Survey
like
Corps
I
is
don't
ISIS.
support ISIS, the Islamic State. But yeah, like the discourse around like, oh, there's like a lot of like fascist imagery, and it's like, yeah, the whole point is denouncing nationalism and like imperialism because it's fucked up this entire race of people.
I don't get when people are like, there's fascist.
Attack on Titan.
There's fascist imagery. These guys are clearly coded to be the Nazis. It's like, yeah, they're also the bad guys, and it's like, well, you know, like, but they're still
To
in
be
the
fair,
story.
early on in Attack on
Yeah.
Titan, they weren't the bad guys really.
Well, yeah, we were saying like it was kind of glorifying militarism at the beginning, and like the big babies,
Yeah.
were the bad guys.
Yeah, and we were saying like I was saying like it's also a very different world from like here, and it doesn't glorify militarism in the sense where it's like these guys are so cool. It's like these guys are so cool, and they're dead on their first mission. They
Yeah,
all
that's
fucking
true.
die. This sucks. Everyone's
Yeah.
sad.
It portrays it as like a
Everyone's
harsh,
traumatized.
Yeah.
a harsh reality.
But fucking like in that harsh reality, it's like, oh, you either have a military or you get eaten by babies. Like there's it's not like you either have a military or you can spend money on healthcare. It's like, no, you either have a military or you get
Well,
there's no
And the one character who, like, in his own mind does, like, fetishize and, like, make it, like, glorious, like Aaron. Like, he
Yeah.
fucking becomes super jaded later on. Cause
Yeah.
Like, oh, no, that's not what it's like. It actually all fucking sucks.
Yeah. Especially because it's easy to like glorify the military when it's like, oh, we're fighting like nameless zombies basically.
Yeah.
But once you're just like, oh, we have to fight people,
We have to fight.
then it's
well,
like, oh, Aaron's evil.
that's like Aaron's biggest character conflict in the most recent season. We're going to go into Attack on Titan spoilers.
Don't spoil anything that.
I'm not going to spoil anything beyond what you've seen. No.
Okay.
You're going to spoil me for sure. That's fine. I don't care.
Well, yeah. Okay.
Sometimes if I see a chapter in Reddit manga, I'll read it. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. I haven't kept up with it.
Yeah,
so
okay,
long.
you're not the person I'm concerned about then. But yeah, like how he kills like all the civilians and like what is literally like a terrorist attack
Yeah.
on Marley. It's like Aaron's not exactly got the plot together
Yeah,
himself.
and no one in the Survey Corps was like, fuck you, except for the one like guy who's jaded and like just completely Aaron-like, where he's like, of course we have to do that. Like
Oh,
everyone else in the Survey Corps is
yeah.
like, this fucking
Flock,
sucks.
Yeah, Flock, where
Yeah.
he was like a part of like the last death charge against
Yeah.
the Beast Titan. It's like, yeah, I can see why you would want to kill all
Yeah.
of these people.
You know, like as far as like hating Titans go, having an ape Titan throwing a bunch of rocks at you and killing all your friends,
fucking comrades.
that would make me want to kill a bunch of Titans. Yeah.
Make me real mad.
I wish I had the Spider-Man stuff they have so I could fly around the city.
Yeah.
A lot of people were saying like something about Isayama like denying the rape of Nanking. like that was like a thing he had said on Twitter, but he doesn't have a Twitter. He doesn't have a Twitter account.
People on Twitter are just dumbasses.
I know.
They'll just be like, they'll be like, this guy, like, did you hear that the guy who made, like, I don't know, fucking, like, Mario, is apparently, he's been giving money to China to kill Muslims even faster. And it's like,
The guy
I
who
believe
made
that.
Mario.
Yeah. It's just,
The
it's like
guy
Shigeru
who-
Miyamoto's out here, like, killing Muslims himself on the street, but he can't be prosecuted in Japan because he made Mario. And it's like,
Prosecuted, he's
it's
a
like
cultural icon.
people on Twitter are just like, yeah, I believe that. Like, that makes sense,
I
I
think-
suppose.
Twitter should get into canceling people who have like no fame whatsoever. So they're just like, John Johnson apparently is he has some skepticism about the Holocaust, and they're just like, fuck John Johnson.
To be fair,
He like
people,
doesn't have a Twitter at all. He's just like doesn't know what's going on.
do you remember?
People are mad.
Oh, you mean people without Twitters? I thought because like there are still
Just
people,
people with no platform whatsoever.
Oh, yeah, that'd
like
be
trying
alright.
to deplatform people who like don't care.
like a dentist who like owns
Yeah.
some practice, and it's like, oh, you're not gonna like get like none of my patients are gonna drop me. So it's like
What the fuck is a Twitter?
occasionally people just call and they're like, do you know that the main guy who runs your dentist denies the Holocaust? It's like, no, he doesn't. It's like
He's actually putting Zyklon B into your teeth.
Going into a retirement home and tricking elderly people into saying racist things, and then
canceling.
canceling them on Twitter.
I must say the N word. Dude, fucking. But there are people who like will go like they'll go like fishing for tweets that have like 4 likes, where it's like a girl in Animal Crossing who's like, nice. I like these space buns, and it'll
Yeah.
just be like, oh, those are actually like they're Afro puffs. And
Yeah,
they're supposed to be
that
like,
kind of
yeah.
discourse happens
It's
a
not
bit,
even-
But then-
a bit too
we already
often.
Yeah.
covered the Afro puffs on this
That
one.
kind of discourse happens a bit too often on
Yeah.
Twitter for my liking. What the fuck?
He hasn't replaced the battery in this light.
Oh, okay.
Well, okay.
Bitch.
Who cares?
I do.
But I still enjoy the app itself because it's fun to get angry at things.
If there's ever anyone who's like actively, constantly retweeting things that are like, I'd like to be angry all the time. That's my MO. I'm just like, I'll mute you. But I like people who retweet art.
Yeah.
I like art. I like your Twitter timeline because you just like funny things and art.
When Biden fucking canceled the interest in student loans, right? Like AOC retweeted and she's like, great, now cancel them, right? And then someone else like retweeted that. It's like me when I see something problematic on Twitter.
I've seen a lot of people recently like trying to like call out AOC for just making like really grandstanding like tweets, and I'm like, she's like does a lot in this country, like in the Congress, as much as you can do really for like normal people.
Like, she helps like write a lot of the Green New Deal.
Yeah, and it's like
Like,
why
she's
are
not-
you trying to like shit on her?
Someone
for
would
making
say that's a
tweets?
great thing.
Like the worst example of picking someone to be like they're virtue signaling. Like literally the worst example.
Yeah.
I think, well, AOC, the problem inherently is that, like, she's just, like,
brown.
a young congresswoman, and she doesn't have a lot of, like, sway in Congress, so
Yeah, sure.
a lot of what she does is just, like, co-sign bills, and any bill that she introduces almost always gets shot down, because she doesn't have, like, or she doesn't have, like, the
Because she
backing.
doesn't rape children yet.
It's true, yeah, no, she's like, I did it for the country.
The CIA doesn't have any dirt on her
Yeah.
yet.
But
I
then,
fucked a child so I could stop climate change.
yeah.
Honestly,
Would you do
if that's what we have to do, let's do it.
If I could magically stop climate change by fucking a child, yeah.
But everyone knows you did it. It's broadcast.
Okay.
But it's like,
Phineas
it's
is
like
going
that
to
one
become
Black
a
Mirror
martyr.
Where he
episode.
fucks the pig. Yeah, yeah. I would. Do they know that I'm doing it to stop climate
No.
change?
no.
No.
They just,
You're a martyr.
I guess I'd still do it anyways. But
you'd be the martyr,
I'd be the
yeah.
martyr.
You'd be the Batman of this story.
Like I don't know, probably the aftermath probably ends up with me killing myself.
Yeah.
But
What would you do?
Yeah.
Would you run away?
I think
Or
for the
would you
greater good, I'd do it. Still.
I appreciate that. I respect it.
Thank you, Phineas.
Would you
You're
go?
welcome.
through
Now we're presenting you with the shadow.
Yeah, you know, you put your fucking money, you fuck a child, you're like, you realize that it's not going to stop climate change. why,
You gotta
did
prepare
you,
yourself.
why did you believe us?
This is a hypothetical.
I mean, yeah, like, in this hypothetical, you would have to, like, I'd have to have some sort of proof, though. that
Yeah,
it
it
was-
wasn't just
like, you couldn't
a
just,
guy.
you couldn't
Joe
just,
Biden calls down a storm from above.
Yeah.
you could just show me a child and be like, hey, if you fuck this kid right now, climate change, over. Like, I wouldn't believe it. but
But if someone told you that, it's like, but also no one's gonna know about it. Would you give it a shot? It's like, well, he could.
Yeah.
He
What
could be.
percent certainty?
Okay, wait.
That's a more nuanced situation, yeah, where you don't know that it stops climate change, but nobody's
knows.
ever gonna find out.
Oh, no one's ever gonna find out. And also, right after he says it's gonna stop climate change, he does a little street magic for you. Now you're not African American, so you don't freak
Let's
out.
run
But it
this
does.
situation. Why do you guys be the kid?
Help, sir.
What do you need help with?
I'm gonna be raped by you to stop climate change.
So you also think this will stop climate change?
I believe it because an adult told me it. This adult right here.
Why?
Yes,
why
yes.
is this gonna stop climate change?
Because you see,
To the street magic right now.
All greenhouse gases.
Is this your card? Any card?
All right, what's your lie? Why is, or maybe it's not a lie. Why is this kid why is raping this kid stop climate change?
we see
What if the kid
This
wants to
kid's
rape you?
asshole,
to stop
right?
climate?
His
this
asshole.
kid's
rape.
asshole
Yeah,
produces enough emissions.
greenhouse gases.
Yeah,
That's
greenhouse
not what
gases.
we want.
Yes.
But we gotta
So
plug
you
it
need
up.
to plug it up and continuously do this. Right?
Gotta plug
So
it up.
first,
I don't
punch
just
it
have.
out.
Wait,
To
so you're
punch
telling
it
me
out.
I don't just have
It'll
to
re-
rape this kid? I have to permanently have in his ass.
No, but after enough times, right? It'll reverse.
How
it'll
many
reverse it.
times?
It'll turn it into red house gases that cancel out the
Red
They
greenhouse.
cancel out. So you will have to
Okay.
do this. Like someone will have to do this every single 1,000 years. So-
Oh,
Thousand.
only
We
1,000
need-
years.
yeah,
not
Yeah, that's
bad.
not bad at all.
Yeah, I'm immortal.
Wait,
I forgot
is-
to tell you. I'm
oh.
not actually a child. I'm
You're
really
immortal.
Yeah, I'm.
So if I stabbed you with a knife right now, you'd be okay.
Don't try that. I'm like the kind of immortal where I'm.
Why
just-
not try it?
I'm just the
If
kind
you're
of
immortal, why don't you want
I
to
can still
try
die
that?
to wounds, but I'll never age.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
my
that's-
favorite
okay,
kind of
okay.
He'll
game.
never age, but his memory resets. So
That's
he has
the immortal
a
I want.
mentality of a child.
I'm like
So you're
Index.
still raping a child.
I'm like-
Don't get this wrong. Just cut
So-
it.
Don't get this twist.
Wait,
Yeah, every 21 years they reset my memory. I'm like Index, where
Okay.
I remember
Oh.
because of all the greenhouse gases. I have a photographic memory of all the times I farted so hard, and that memory is so traumatic that they have to reset my memory every time it happens.
Every 21 years, you get raped by it in the same town of Derry.
So every 21 years, how old do you feel? Like, how long have you had your current?
5
Street
years. I'm 5 years old.
We all float down here.
Okay,
where
so
we
you're
rape
5
children.
years old.
But
it's
I-
weird that I'm asking this.
But I
because
look
obviously
21,
I can
by
see,
the
you
way.
look 21.
I look 21.
Wait,
I am 5
wait.
years old.
Okay, well, I would rape a guy who looks 21 years old for a chance of stopping climate change. This is a
This
new
is a good
scenario.
hypothetical.
Earlier, I thought I was.
I look
raping
21, but I
kid.
look like I wouldn't pass at a bar. They'd be like, this is probably, even if it
Like, I
wasn't.
thought like you're like bringing in like a kid like yay hi, you know, like a little toddler boy, telling me like.
Yeah, come on, dude.
But like, this is just like a baby faced 21-year-old. Like, I'll rape him for a chance at stopping climate, especially when like. Wow, I guess
Okay,
it's more
Like in this scenario, this guy just approaches you with this kid in hand.
and like he's told me so much about like the whole like memory wiping process that like I'm sold on that.
I'm willing to believe now.
I'm like imagining the like Tage wearing like a lab coat, so like that's all it would take really.
A lab coat and then
A
like
single
little
lab
badge
coat
that says doctor.
and a lanyard, and I'm sold.
Yes.
And a few little magic tricks.
Yeah, and a deck of cards.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, alright, if you're so,
So-
unaging and magical and mystical, why don't you do the thumb thing?
Speaking of street magic, I was in Vegas one time and I saw a guy on the street do some street magic that fucking right there made me believe a little bit in street magic pretty hard when I was a kid.
What happened?
Cause he did like whatever the thing is like.
He did the thumb thing.
And he put like a card on the bottom of the deck, and then he did it like where you like move the card through the deck, and like there's like a marking on the side of the card where you can like see it, and I was able to like physically see the card like moving up through the deck to the top, which was pretty crazy to me because I
That
was
sounds
like,
pretty
what
awesome.
the fuck?
How does
How-
that?
I don't know how that worked. That's like why I'm still kind of like thinking about this because I'm like, oh shit, yeah, I remember seeing that.
That's kind of
as a
that's
kid.
kind of cool.
Never more do I feel like an asshole than when I see a magic trick that I don't understand, and I still go like, who fucking cares? Like, I can see something that like my
No
brain,
other time.
my brain. Well, that's just the peak of it, right? Like, but like I don't understand it. Like, I should be impressed because it's like something that like I cannot explain, but at the same time, just like I fucking absolutely do not care about this.
Do not give a
About
shit.
this thing I cannot explain with all the knowledge I've culminated, which albeit is limited, but like
Yeah.
I
Should
can't
be
I
something,
can't even
yeah.
like come up with like maybe that's how they did it. Like I still just go like not impressed.
I fucking imagine if every girl on Tinder, instead of being like, I like going on adventures, they're like, I like street magic. Like,
Can you
if
do a card trick?
Yeah, if you can do card tricks, like it's
You're
like
asking me to imagine if every girl on Tinder did this.
yes.
All
Well,
right.
all the girls who did,
Just
so every
clarifying.
girl basically.
My parents bought me one of those like magic trick like sets. I think it was like literally the Chris Angel like magic trick set one time, and the way you would do like the card tricks is that there was like a fucking like it was like a mechanism in the deck. So the deck wasn't even like a real deck. So you'd have like a little thing at the back of it that you'd stick the
Yeah,
card
like trick
to.
decks, like those are the worst magic tricks.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
a trick deck. Like when it's like sleight of hand is cool.
Sleight of hand is like a
Cooler.
cool
Yeah.
real thing.
Easier to explain, but like also like because
But-
when it's
but
a
also
trick
takes more
deck, it's
technique,
like
yeah.
okay, well there's so many things that you could do with a trick deck.
Yeah.
That, like
If you don't let someone
even
look
if
at
I
the
don't
deck,
get it, who cares?
Yeah, exactly.
And so
But
now I feel like an asshole.
with sleight of hand, you kind of have this thing where it's like, okay, this takes
There's
like actual
technical skill
yeah.
there, yeah.
It's like I wasn't even paying.
The one there was one I
That would be the
actually-
plot point in Black Clover where someone has trick deck. She's like, that's not.
Yeah, that's not real magic.
Those are petty parlor tricks. Mine is impressive and takes skill.
Yeah. There was one I did actually have to do that was like actual sleight of hand where you'd like move the cups around with the ball underneath or whatever.
And you
I'd
just
have to,
like slide it off the table so it drops in your lap.
No, I think I'd like kind of have to like slip it into my palm or whatever and like
Okay.
kind of like hide it there and then like place it under when the cup came up. And I got okay at that for like however old I was, like 10 or something like
Okay.
that. But it really wasn't like that impressive.
It seems kind of
I
impressive.
feel like if you went up to a 9-year-old and asked them to show you a magic trick, that it would be funny because they would try, even
Yeah.
though they don't know any.
They'd be like,
Or they
it's
would
scrambled.
say, no, I don't know any.
I don't think they would. I think if you did that to a
I
9-year-old,
think
they
9-year-olds are pretty precocious now.
All right, maybe I gotta go younger.
If you did that to the kid,
All these
wait, the
9-year-olds
kid, you're
these
like,
days, so
I don't believe that
precocious.
I don't believe that you're immortal. Show me a magic trick to the
Yeah.
kid you're about to rape for climate change.
I did that in the hypothetical already.
It's true. No, you asked the other guy. You asked
So
the
I asked you. I
scientist.
said, "Dude, if you're so
Oh,
amazing
if you're
and
so mystical, do
mystical,
that.
show me the thumb thing." Yeah.
Okay.
Show me the thumb.
Like I don't get that. Like only magical people can do the thumb thing.
I wonder. Can you get like
You're
taken
magic,
off?
it's confirmed.
Can you get? Do you think this like
Hey,
this
asshole, look at this. What do you think about this?
I do like
Are
that
you
you
magic?
can make babies cry with the got your nose thing because they don't like have any concept that you couldn't actually take their nose. So you're like, I have your nose, and they're like, what the fuck?
They
We're fucking starting some beef with babies. and
Babies
kids
and
this
magic.
episode.
Why don't you understand what magic is, you dumb fucking baby?
I know they don't even have object permanence yet. They're dumb as shit. I fucking.
This is a message to all the babies out there.
Yeah, all the
If
babies.
you're a baby, I will beat the shit out of you. I will fucking whip your ass into
1v1.
shape.
Do you think Black Rover would get like if we put it on like Webtoon or Tapastic or something? Do you think we'd get like canceled? Do you think they would like come after us and be like?
What?
Do you think they would get taken off of the
Oh,
service?
it would not be good unless we did it like tastefully.
Here's how we could trick
Somehow.
them into not being upset. We say that the reason it's called Black Rover is for like another reason, and it's just like a coincidence that all the people who like
Well-
magic are black.
Well, she's like, I just love doing street
They're like
magic.
the black guys from Gantz, where they're like, "You all right, white boy?"
Fucking
Patting her on the back, just like,
Dude.
"Nah."
all black guys in anime are just like it's a rough time most of the time because well like more recently but even more recently like the guy from the most recent season of Haikyuu not great not amazing he's just a very strong like he's okay in character but like the way that they choose to draw them like the girl from Promised Neverland like the maid
Oh,
and the
God,
guy
yeah.
from Haikyuu they choose to draw them with like
Biggest
big
lips.
lips and like they just are like well minstrel shows that's like an accurate representation it's like no stop don't
The closest that black people will ever get to getting a sympathetic representation in anime or manga is to have like a tan Japanese person.
yeah
Like that's as good as you're gonna get.
yeah the swimmer of the group
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Jake?
Don't.
How's it going?
yeah hello fucking wait what was the there's something
I have to pee.
We should do that now.
Gotcha.
What's
Just-
it? There's like I've been watching Banana Fish kind of recently because that's on Amazon. There's like some good representations of like black characters in that show. I feel like, but one of them like gets shot to death in like the second episode. By, like,
Oh yeah, the little kid too.
Yeah, the little
Yeah.
kid, the little black kid gets shot and dies in the second episode. I'm like, why did you do that?
What is Smokey a good representation
It's
in part
like,
two?
it's like the same character as
Oh,
Smokey
really?
in Banana Fish. So I'm like, did Rocky steal this character?
Where's the Indian representation anime?
In JoJo, they have all the little Indian people come up to them when they get into India, and they're just like,
Yeah, and there's a
begging
pig
for
in the
money.
toilet.
There's that anime where Jesus and Buddha hang out and they're roommates.
yeah
Oh shit.
there's a lot of like Saudi Arabian representation because that country is now just like analogous to like wealthy people who own a lot of like oil. Like I remember I was watching like The Great Pretender or whatever, and
Oh,
one of the
yeah,
entire arcs takes place in like Saudi Arabia, and there's just a bunch of like Saudi, and they were portrayed pretty well, I suppose. That was a pretty taste. I think they're getting more and more tasteful now that you're like, oh, this is an international. movie.
Yeah, this is international. We can't just make our own little racist jokes
Yeah.
in Japan.
That's like us making a podcast out of high school. Except for we don't change.
Well, like, we are international. 100% of our listeners are Japanese.
Yeah,
100%.
you're all Japanese in my heart.
100%.
I think was the metric.
Yeah.
We have Our percentage of Japanese listeners is the same as our percentage of women listeners.
And there's-
100%.
And there's 100% overlap.
Yeah.
Damn, that's
Nice.
crazy, dude. Yeah, we haven't talked about VTubers at all. We're gonna lose listeners.
ジャック&ジャクソン VTuber コーナー
It's true, yeah. Well, let's
Now
see.
we're
What
done,
is there
and
to
now
talk
we're
about?
Now we're done. Phineas is mad.
Did you see? I like that they're acknowledging like.
I
independent
like that
VTubers.
one of them is a dog girl.
Yeah.
I do like that.
Polka did acknowledge like a lot of the like
V-Shoujo.
the V-Shoujo
She's
girls,
like, Nanners is cool. That's cute.
which I liked. Yeah. That
Yeah,
was
but
good.
fucking I've been going down. I think I've talked to you guys about this off the pod, but I love I love that like fucking Korone every time that you see like her browser history or whatever. She's really into like baseball and like torture. Like those are her two. Like she's like the
Popular
dog girl.
torture myth.
And she's just she's like she was talking about like the Saw movies, and she's like, apparently people, like the first Saw movie was well regarded, but after that people were like, there's too much gore. I was only really in it for the gore, so I just thought they got better and better as the Saw movies progressed.
That is
And
true,
there's like
yeah.
this cute little anime dog girl like talking about how much she loves torture in all of her shows.
Suck my cock.
Maybe she'd be a fan of that one anime that Jax was talking
Yeah,
about.
Redo of Healer.
Yeah, oh, I'm sure she is. She doesn't seem like it. There's so many
Sadistic.
VTubers who just don't seem like they're fans of anime. There's Mari or whatever, she's like an otaku basically. But then you get people who like Subaru, who's basically just like a fucking like valley girl, but in Japan, and she's like, I didn't.
money. Like,
Well, no. Apparently, the reason that she did it is because her fucking house burned down.
Yeah, she had her house burned down.
And so she's like, I need a job quick. And then she just became a VTuber. And that worked out pretty well, I'd say. She's pretty entertaining, but I just think it's really funny that a bunch of them are like, I don't really like anime at all, but
Yeah, I don't like
Pays the
anime
bills.
or you guys.
yeah, especially not
My
you.
fans, especially, are weirdos,
Yeah.
fucking creepers.
yeah, that fan base. I don't know.
It's
Do
bad.
they have?
It's
Like,
bad. It's not good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's some weirdos in there. No, I think there's certain chats that
I
are
think
like,
most of the people in the fan base are not healthily in it.
I mean,
I'd
yeah.
say. I'd say most of them.
Has there ever been a fan base based on the internet that has ever been like really good?
Yeah.
If it's past a certain size.
JoJo fans are so cool, bro.
I'd say yes, but I couldn't name them.
I would joke that ours is, but we don't have one that engages
What
with
the
us at
fuck
all.
are you talking
We just have a
about?
couple of guys.
Oh
who
yeah, let's
listen.
finish it off with. Have we got any emails, Jack?
We've not.
I mean, nobody wants to
nothing on
email
Reddit,
us.
nothing on Twitter.
Nothing on Reddit. Oh yeah, we should
I don't.
probably plug the email.
Yeah,
more.
we haven't been doing that lately.
Uh,
Tej do it.
Yeah, should we put this at the very beginning of the
Let's
podcast?
just do it.
Yeah, Tej do it. We'll put it at the beginning.
I don't remember the email.
Brown Breaks
Guess.
Podcast at email.
Guess what it could
At
be.
brownbrickspodcast@gmail.com.
At
That's-
brownbrickspodcast at gmail.
That's all we're doing. That's
yes,
what.
that's it.
All right.
That's the.
That's good
all right,
enough.
cool. That seems good.
Just
All right.
Tej.
All right, wait, do we got one more riff in us here? Okay, everybody
Um,
think of their best riff.
I don't know about Riff. but-
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to mention that Ethan and I went to a fucking underground
Gay bar.
This
No,
better
no.
be a good story because
No.
we're ending.
Yeah.
it.
Okay. We went to an underground like antique store, like the
That's
same
like
thing.
literally underground, or
Yeah, no, it was like in an alleyway. An alleyway we had to go
Was it
down.
downtown?
It was it looked exactly like the fucking Gremlins. Like, antique shop. I swear to God.
Was
It was
Gizmo
like-
in there?
No, it was fucking musty, and as
Yeah.
soon as you walked in, there was like this fake cat that like started meowing. And I was like, Ethan, what
Was
the
it one of
fuck
those,
are we
like,
doing
ones
here?
that-
What did you just
And,
buy
and
anything?
apparently, no, we didn't. Ethan was looking for like a box or something to put like his plant on, and
the box.
yeah, and then it's like a total like barter system. This guy like
I know just the place.
no, this guy like collects random materials from around like junkyards and
Is
scrap
he
yards. And just
Chinese?
fucking puts it down in his basement. No, he's some old white guy.
No.
So this guy just like goes to junkyards and finds stuff. He's like, that looks cool.
Yeah,
and
and
he
he
puts it in
puts
a
it-
basement.
Sell
Yeah, and this fucking this musty. It smells
Are there
like
prices
shit.
on it, or do you go like, I'll
No.
pay you this much for it?
No, you have to go up to him like, how much?
This is more like a schizophrenic garage sale.
Yeah, it's like a
than a
permanent-
store.
It's
The
a
never-ending
permanent
garage
sale.
sale.
I gotta take you guys to it one time. Maybe we can go today or something. I don't know. It's like right by a Hollywood
the
Candy.
never-ending story, the never-ending garage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
That sounds
And
pretty
then-
cool.
And then
Yeah.
as Tej was browsing the store, he found an iPod with a single thing on it, and it was this episode before it was even released.
Oh,
yeah.
It's like a
That's-
creepypasta.
And that's what makes
And
It's
that's
such a good story to end on.
and that's why Tage was